This is the Velos, a Tier 8 premium pan-European destroyer. It's the main reward from the Aegean Arrow campaign, and the cool skin here comes at milestone 85 in that campaign. The ship has only one torpedo rack. It's got 5 torpedoes, but they are really quick reloading, 4 main guns, and let's get into the setup of the ship and the commander, who is Stig Ericson. And I used, let me go here. So I used Stig Ericson instead of the other guys here. I did try going with Jerzy Swirsky for a gunboat build, but I found that the extended detectability out to 6 kilometers was not doing me any favors. And the guns I didn't feel were really all that effective anyway, so I did end up going with Stig Ericson, and I'm just dealing with that. So let's get into his specs here. The base trait is Thunderbolt, which improves the engine boost, cooldown time, and torpedo damage. And then here we went with a double concealment setup with Eric Bay Shifty and Deng Shishang Quantum of Solace. They both improve the detectability of the destroyer, and Deng Shishang improves the torpedo damage. We went with Subsurface Venture for the first skill here, which improves the torpedo speed and the torpedo launcher reload time, but you do take a hit on the destroyer main battery reload time. Look at Me Now is the next skill, which improves the sea detectability. Here we went with Perceptive, which improves the incoming damage to your destroyer. It reduces that by about 2.25%, and it improves the torpedo detectability range. Here I went with Sheltered Arms, which improves the risk of the main battery being incapacitated and the risk of the torpedo launchers being incapacitated. And here I went with Unstoppable, which improves the engine repair time. It also allows for a reduced mobility with a disabled engine and or rudder. Special effect is a damage control party cooldown time, which is active when you're within 4.5 kilometers of an enemy ship. That's at legendary rank 2. That will go all the way up to 7.5 kilometers at legendary rank 4. And yeah, I played around with a lot of commanders and a lot of setups here. I personally did not notice that it made all that great of a difference, but I'm more of a torpedo boat person anyway, but that didn't really help out there in a match, frankly. First upgrade for the Velos is Aiming Systems Mod 1. Main battery dispersion is improved, as is the torpedo launcher traverse speed. Then here we went with the Propulsion Mod 2, which improves the time taken to reach full power, cuts that in half. And then we went with the Concealment System Mod 1. Detectability range is improved by 10%, as is the incoming fire dispersion, so this doubles up on your fully upgraded camo or skin. Then here we did go with the Gun Fire Control System Mod 2, which improves the main battery dispersion and the main battery range. I kind of left this from my gunboat build with a torpedo reload time of right around a minute. That's quick enough anyway, so I'm trying to get a little bit more out of the guns, as it were. So, okay, so loadout. Ammunition, high explosive shells, arm-piercing shells, and torpedoes, which we'll get to in a minute. Damage control party, duration is 5 seconds, reloads every 40 seconds, and those consumables are unlimited. Next is a smoke generator consumable, duration is 30 seconds. Dispersion is 127 seconds, and it reloads every 160 seconds, and there are 3 of those. Then we have the engine boost, which will temporarily increase the ship's maximum speed while the boost is running. It improves the maximum speed by 8%. It runs for 2 minutes, reloads every 3 minutes almost, and there are 2 of those consumables. Then you have the defensive AA fire, which improves the AA damage by 200%. It runs for 40 seconds, reloads every 150 seconds, and you have 2 of those. Not running any boosters, but that could change depending on the match. And yeah, the camo here does come at milestone 85, as I said, and let's select the camo. And this is the camo, the historical camo, if you want to go with that. Obviously, you don't have to go with the cool Aegean camo here, but yeah, that's the historical camo. For this match, I did go with the cool vanity camo, and you do want to make sure to hook up your Velos flag when you're setting the ship up. Specs: survivability hit points is 17,100. Armor is pretty much non-existent. Artillery, you have 4 guns. They reach out to 11.5 kilometers. With this setup, it reloads every 2.8 seconds, which is still pretty quick. Maximum damage is right around 2,000, regardless of whether it's HE or armor piercing. And with a full gun build, that goes up to 2,300 for armor piercing, which is not really all that much. It might make a little bit of a difference with destroyers, but I didn't notice that it was super effective where I have to go with that all the time. Torpedoes, as I said, you have 1 launcher, 5 torpedoes. They reload every 52 seconds, and that's pretty quick. Maximum damage is 20,090, which is awesome. Range is pretty good at 10.5 kilometers, and torpedo speed is pretty good at 70 knots. AA defenses doesn't look like much, but you do have that AA defensive booster going. You might be able to do something. Maneuverability, maximum speed is 38 knots. Turning circle radius is just over 0.5 kilometer. Rudder shift time is 3.9 seconds, and the concealment is 5.2 kilometers. Detectability range by sea, range by air is 2.9, and if you're in the smoke, 2.6. Armor, whatever you do, do not get hit. Overview, reloader, it has an above average main battery reload speed. And yeah, that is pretty quick at 2.8 seconds with a torpedo build. And maximum movement speed is pretty fast at just right around 40 knots. Extended smoke. And then the Velos is a USS Kidd, a Fletcher-class destroyer, and it was built in Boston. The ship fought in the Pacific, escorted aircraft carriers, conducted raid operations, and participated in the Battle of the Leyte Gulf. In 1947, she was sent to the reserve for subsequent mothballing. Then in 1959, the U.S. handed the ship over to Greece, where she received the name Velos. In 1994, the destroyer was declared an anti-dictatorial museum in recognition of the Navy's devotion to the Constitution and democracy. Entered service in 1943, and there was 1 ship in the series. All right, well, that's it for the setup of the ship and the commander. Let's go out in a standard match and check out a highlight. All right, so here we are. We are in the new mountain range map, and that's pretty cool. So let's check out the teams in Adriatico and a Plymouth. So there's 1 destroyer per side, so that is awesome. A lot of those battleships over there don't have any sonar or radar. I think the Schroeder and the Plymouth may be a problem, though. But as far as the battleships go, it should be a complete field day. I'm not really too concerned with the aircraft carrier. And yeah, the thing I found about the ship is the Velos is, well, there's not one thing that I could say, wow, everybody needs to get this ship because it has like overwhelming guns or overwhelming torpedoes. In fact, if I play the ship again or in the future, it's probably just for the challenge of seeing if I could get a better score out of the ship. Spoiler alert, I do get a pretty good score on this match, even though I don't last very long. So yeah, here I'm taking a shot, and you can see that the torpedoes are going to reload in 50 seconds. So that is awesome. And this is the one difference between the Velos and the Kidd. So just like the Kidd, the Velos has just 1 torpedo rack of 5 torpedoes, but the torpedoes on the Kidd take so long to reload that is kind of a problem here. This is kind of a great feature of this ship, is the fact that the torpedoes can reload so quick. I was not able to configure Swirsky with a complete gunboat setup to really make any progress as far as like an awesome gunboat situation here. And here I'm going into B to capture B, and you can see that I'm hiding behind this ledge in this island right here. And we're gonna try to capture B, and we're gonna stay hidden. So we're kind of being as stealthy as possible, and we're just gonna sit here and let the time count up. You can see that there is a destroyer sort of in front of me over here, right on the other side of that island. There's that Schroeder, so I definitely want to watch out for the Schroeder. He can definitely be a problem and basically wreck my day. Yeah, I don't really want to get into it with the Schroeder or the Plymouth. And the Dratico, the semi-armor piercing shells on that would definitely hurt. In a gun battle, I would definitely lose, even if I had a gun build on this boat, versus the Dratico. He does have a pretty poor concealment though. So here, okay, so here he is. I see where he is. He lit up his smoke screen. So now I'm going to see if I can catch him with the oldest trick in the book, and that's basically shoot the torpedoes where the smoke screen is. And I'm moving out of my current location because I don't want the Dratico player to see where the torpedoes came from. Launch some torpedoes in that direction, and then next thing you know, I get bitten by the same thing. So I'm going to move over here by this island and get out of my original location of where I launched those torpedoes from. And so we're going to come up here and just sit and wait and see if we can get a hit on that destroyer. There's an Anhalt there. If I get into secondary range of the Anhalt, that is not going to be a good situation. I have my Anhalt set up for a secondary build, and look at that. I get the Dratico with a torpedo hit and a flood, but he damage conned immediately, and we get nothing out of the flood except for the ribbon. So here he is just sitting here, and okay, so here I go. I'm taking a shot at the Dratico, and now watch all the incoming shells from everybody and their grandmother, and I don't see my teammates wiping out the Dratico. Like I'm getting a array of shells coming from everywhere, it seems like, from 3 different locations. And then you're going to see some torpedoes show up. Here's a torpedo. So on top of all the shells coming in, I got the torpedoes going, and there's a Schroeder right in front of me. Luckily the smoke is doing its thing, and he is not going to be around much longer, as it turns out. So that is awesome. But I've also got this Dratico over here. So yeah, torpedoes all over the place. I don't even know what's going on, except now I'm kind of free in the circle here. And the Dratico came back in, and this should be an easy destroyed ship here. But my teammate is going to get involved and take out the Dratico. So there you go, on to turrets. Awesome. Close quarters medal. So that was secondaries going. So I have no idea how far away the ship is, but he's got to be close enough to be within secondary range. I can see the battleship right there on the map. So there he is, 7 kilometers away. We're going to finish capturing this base, then we're going to come around and we're going to head toward B over there, or not B, but we're going to head toward A. I think we're going to head toward A. So no, we're going to head toward C. A is over there. Looking at the map, and since it's upside down compared to where I am, this is the -- reason why I get confused on the mini map. If they always had the mini map reference so that where I'm facing is always up, that would be a lot better for me. But I always get discombobulated with the mini map, and that is my #1 problem I have with the game, I guess. Even after all these years, it's still hasn't worked out. But here, okay, so there's an Iowa, there's an Anhalt, there's a Jean Bart. So this should be easy pickings for me. So I'm going to come over here towards C and try to take out all of these battleships. So this should be really easy pickings, especially with a 1 minute reload, less than a minute, 50-second reload time on those torpedoes. So there's the Kaga over there. There's the Anhalt. Don't really want to get involved with the Anhalt, but it looks like he was moving in a different direction. But the Jean Bart and the Iowa, those look like easy targets right here. So I'm actually thinking about whether I want to take the shot right there. I'm also thinking about, since I'm 8 kilometers away, I can probably get away with a couple salvos and not really worry about getting destroyed. So there, I take the shot on them. And so there's the Iowa, 8 kilometers away. I slowed up to a full stop, and I'm going to take a shot because there's no way he can do anything. I pop my smoke. He can't see me anyway, and I get 3 defendeds there. So that is going to really help out the XP. And we're up to 19,000 damage. Nothing going on. So I've got the torpedoes going, thinking that if he decides to turn in, I don't have anything to worry about because I've got that path covered. So I'm going to power up here and come around this island and try to get another angle on the Iowa is the initial thought. The cog is gone, so that is good. And we're down on ships. So we're up on bases, but we're down on ships. And I did not expect this. The Iowa has closed in on me, and this is like a bad situation there. So there are a bunch of torpedoes going at the Iowa. I'm turning away. I've got a couple thousand XP left. I don't expect that the Iowa would take me out on a single salvo like that, and I do get 3 more torpedo hits, but he damage conned immediately, and you can see that we are up on bases, definitely down on ships, and as unbelievable as it sounds, we end up winning this match because they cannot overcome the number of bases that we have captured, especially with only battleships. They're not that fast at moving to capture the bases. All right, so there you go. That is about it for the Velos. If you get close to a battleship like that, whatever you do, do not do not go up against a battleship like that. That will not do you any favors. And in the end, we do get 394,000 silver credits, 62,000 total damage performance on 19 main gun hits, 4 torpedo hits, few aircraft shot down, so the AA did come in handy. 4 floods, even though they damage conned immediately. 3 defendeds and 1 captured base. So we're going to rack up some XP on that. And look at that, we did finish in 3rd place. Even though it was a fairly short match, we didn't last long. What the heck's going on with the rest of the players? I have no idea. But that's just how the XP adds up, it looks like. And 2,300 XP on that kind of a match with the Velos. And there you go. That's my look at the Velos. Any campaign ship is worth getting for only $10. And you can be challenged with getting a good match out of the Velos. Maybe you can get a good gun build. If you do, let me know down below. I'm going to leave you with a gunfight I had with a Friesland at the end of the video, and you can see that you don't really last very long with a ship that's made for a gunfight. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like it.